Damn near any chimpanzee could record Michael.
Michael Jackson is known as one of the most prolific artists of all time. How does one of the most talented artists go about translating their ideas in their head to the speakers? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be exploring the mixing tips, tricks, and techniques used by Michael Jackson's engineer, Bruce Swedien. We'll be going over how he recorded instruments, Michael Jackson's vocal chain, Bruce Swedien's favorite console and studio monitors of choice, as well as some other insights into his process. So make sure to stay tuned for this video, and it's going to be one you don't want to miss. Arguably the most important aspect in any Michael Jackson mix is his vocals, and you better bet that his engineer Bruce Swedien has spent a lot of time perfecting his vocal chain. As for the different vocal mics Bruce uses on Michael Jackson, there are a few go-tos. One of the most common mics he used was the Shure SM7. And no, he didn't use the Shure SM7B.
Peculiar, it's a Shure SM7, not a 7B. The current one is a pretty decent microphone, but it's not like the original SM7. And I found that the best microphone for Michael was the Shure SM7, and the original one.
So that's an interesting choice because that's a dynamic microphone.
It is a dynamic mic, and everybody would think, oh, you want the best, so it's going to be a condenser? Not so.
Another one of Bruce's go-to mics to use on Michael Jackson was his Neumann U47.
It's a kind of an unusual one. Many versions of this mic were made. This is a long body version with a chrome grill. And the finish of that grill greatly affects the character of the sound.
Besides the U47, Bruce also had a go-to ribbon mic, which is the RCA 44B.
Another thing I used on Michael quite a bit is my ribbon microphones. I have Royer ribbons, but I also have a bunch of original RCA 44BX and RCA 77DXs that are ribbon mics that sound just gorgeous, just beautiful.
Bruce would switch between these microphones and some others depending on what the song needed, and that is an important characteristic of Bruce Swedien. He recorded with the mix in mind. In fact, microphones were so important to Bruce that he flew with them wherever he went in these cartoonishly large anvil cases. And for Bruce, proper preamps were just as important. For recording vocals, he had his prized pair of Neve 1084s, which of course were racked in a custom case. When recording instruments, Bruce's philosophy of recording with the mix in mind becomes even more critical. Bruce would often record instruments with a wide variety of stereo miking techniques. These miking techniques allowed Bruce to capture the early reflections of the room and the sound of the room itself, which gave an extra layer of depth to the tracks that he recorded. He would even take electronic sounds like a synthesizer and reamp it, so to speak, in the live room of the studio.
Typically, you'll stereo mic individual tracks as well. We're not talking about just a stereo mix, but actual individual tracks.
Absolutely, and then in order to support that, those tracks are then kept in stereo right through to the mastering phase.
And what do you find that adds to the whole process?
Space.
Besides using different stereo miking techniques, there are a few other things Bruce does to retain the depth and life of the music when it's recorded. And one of those is not using compression, which Bruce hates.
I hate compression. I have a kind of an old saying where I say that compression is for kids. I hate compression. The personality of the music is in the transients. And if you start compressing those away, you lose a lot of the quality of the music right away, and you'll never get it back.
I agree, I do the same thing.
Yeah. I'm a nut about not using compression in a mix. And I have a saying about that. Compression is for kids. Transients in music are part of the excitement. They're part of the groove. It's so much a part of the drum sound and so on that I will go to great lengths to preserve the transients.
While Bruce primarily did not use compression, there were a few compressors he did own and did use from time to time.
I do have compressors and limiters, but don't use them very often. My favorite is the Teltronics.
LA2A?
LA2A, yes, I have two of those, and also the Yuri 1176 is pretty
Kind of the standards. I mean, those
Yeah.
are those are the ones, right?
You'll find those in any control room.
Right, right.
Bruce's most common use of compression was on vocals. On Michael, he liked to use an 1176 at a 12:1 ratio. But even with this compressor, he would do very little.
You did use an 1176 a lot on Michael's vocals on a lot of occasions, didn't you?
Absolutely, yeah, but just as we say at the University of Minnesota, just a squirt.
But how did Bruce manage dynamics if he never used any compression? Well, he used his knowledge reading scores and would actually use the score as a guide to mix the song.
Always ask for a copy of the score.
Okay.
And because of my mom and dad insisting that I study piano, I can read music.
As an engineer, producer, mixer, or even a content creator, we often work long hours in terrible environments. Most studio equipment is not designed at all with ergonomics or the longevity of the human body in mind. This means producers and engineers often have terrible posture.
But what the hell, boy?
Which in turn leads to terrible health problems. But there is a solution to this problem, and that is FlexiSpot. FlexiSpot is your one-stop shop for affordable, high-quality, and ergonomic studio furniture. For this video, FlexiSpot was kind enough to send me an E7 standing desk. Since receiving the new desk, my workflow has already become so much more productive. I can now work long hours without having the pain of my previous setup. This is due to how adjustable the ergonomics of the desk are. The height varies from 22 inches tall all the way up to 50 inches tall. When I have a really long day of work, I like to go and put the desk in standing mode. Or even when I'm sitting, I enjoy the flexibility of being able to move the desk up and down into the ideal position. And for those who are really serious about your health, you can check out their other stick products like the Desk Bike Pro. If you are interested in getting your flex on and joining the FlexiSpot family, click the link in the description below. It's time to get serious about your health. Choose FlexiSpot. While Bruce was rarely ever intentionally inserting a compressor, he was getting some compression from the tape he recorded to. According to a few assistants, he was very conscious of the levels that he hit the tape at, and used that to help manipulate the overall sound of the mix. Early on, he used some 3M tape machines on albums like Thriller, and would also use the famous Studer A800.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Is that an 800?
No, that's a this is an 827.
Oh, okay, I can see it now, yeah.
The most gorgeous analog recording device on earth.
Unless you're the assistant that has to align it.
Yeah, then you'll be talking to yourself.
Now when it comes to recording and mixing consoles, Bruce had one priority, and that was a Harrison console. Bruce was known for having a close relationship with David Harrison. Together they would collaborate to help customize the console, cater to whatever specific project Bruce was working on at the time. Many famous Michael Jackson projects like Thriller were recorded and mixed on a Harrison 4032. And even to this day, Bruce uses Harrison as his custom console of choice in his studio. Now some more equipment that was very important to Bruce was his studio monitors. While he was mixing Michael Jackson, his go-to monitors of choice were the JBL 4310. But he also had a pair of Auratone speakers. Many assistants during the Michael Jackson mixing sessions noticed that Bruce spent a considerable amount of time on the Auratones. When working on the Auratones, he'd turn them down super quiet and lean into them. This makes sense as one of Michael Jackson's closest collaborators, Quincy Jones, loved the Auratone speaker. He would ask Bruce to hear the mix on the radio, which would mean pull it up on the Auratones. Hopefully you all enjoyed that video taking a look at Michael Jackson's mixing secrets. If you did, I'll give you 5 seconds to go ahead and hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Now that you've subscribed to the channel, make sure to check out some of my other videos. And if you want more videos like this one, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. I'll see y'all later.